So I've been thinking about regret a lot. You get a little bit older and you start thinking about the past. You can't help it. Whatever it is that you're going through life, it seems to almost trigger memories and this feeling that, something could have been done differently or something that went wrong could have been prevented. It doesn't happen all the time. But inevitably, I feel like most of us hit that point in our life at some point where we're really questioning ourselves, like who we are, what our values are. I mean, what we believe in and who we love sometimes. You know, Living a life without regret doesn't mean that you're not allowed to make mistakes. And I think this is one of the major things that I've noticed that, you know, in the current modern era, we seem to be really unforgiving or unsympathetic, unempathetic, intolerant. We don't seem to have a lot of love for people who do make mistakes. When you make a mistake or fail, that's it. You're not really allowed to fix things, it seems. It seems to me that very often, even though we all know we make mistakes, there's quite a lot of us out there that are more than happy to judge, to persecute, to punish. We live in a highly punitive society, like it's very legal. Everything is litigious, as they say, right? Everyone's suing everyone. Neighbors, megacorps, doctors, lawyers suing lawyers, family suing family. It's a weird world. Who do you trust? Really life is about being aware. We have a lot of talk about accountability lately. And I believe that you should take ownership. Take ownership of the things you did. Own it. Okay? Your mistakes don't define you and they don't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're evil because you chose incorrectly. You actually can use those moments to learn, to grow. Those are opportunities, actually, amazing opportunities for growth. They say that failure is like the best teacher, right? Like at the end of the day, when you succeed and do something correctly, you don't really learn anything. Again, you've maybe done it correctly, but there's no lesson that you've gained. So in many ways, like failing, making mistakes, it's okay because they involve mental, emotional, and personal growth. What is important is understanding that self-forgiveness is a big part of life. Everybody makes mistakes. There's far too many of us on this planet doing far too many things at any given time to think that there is anyone that's perfect. One problem, though, is that people like to hold others up to their standards. That's something that, because of social media and the internet, these bits of life that come with modernity, the technological shift has put us into a place where it's very easy to be a voyeur, to watch other people's lives. And human beings love to feed off negative energy. Negative energy creates more of a dopamine rush than positive energy. When you go through a day and you have bad events happen to you and good events happen to you, it tends to be those bad moments, the negative things, right? The bad exchanges, that's what you remember. Those are what stand out. The things that are good, they don't tend to jump out. It's weird, but like humans, I guess because of our, evolutionary tract, in order to protect ourselves, it's those moments that stand out the most. Again, probably comes down to learning, probably comes down to getting something from that instance. Growth. So what really, you know, worries me is that people no longer understand how to define what their values are. They align themselves with the values of other people, social media influencers and whatnot. Here I am on this platform talking to you and stuff, but I implore you to use the power of your sovereignty to be a human, and humans are not perfect. Humans are fallible. Okay. It's okay to make a mistake. Forgive yourself. Learn to forgive yourself. I'm still learning to forgive myself, and I'm old. It's not an easy thing for all of us. Facing your fears and not worrying about judgment, embracing, the what ifs, and living in the present can be incredibly rewarding.